real. They're bulking and cutting only because you can't put on a ton of muscle when you're 4% body fat.
So he just admitted that sebum bulks up, but oh God, dude.
They're really bulking, cutting. Not really. They're really increasing their body fat percentage until the point that they can maintain at.
So they're bulking. Yes.
People adding on 10 pounds of muscle while in a calorie deficit while being this lean, next to impossible.
But you weren't in a deficit.
Yeah, I know. I never said I was in a deficit.
Greg, you got to listen to yourself talk, man. By Greg's own logic, right? Kaiko, you said you gained 8 to 10 pounds, but so if you were in a deficit, how did you gain 8 to 10 pounds?
I broke the laws of physics.
You broke the laws of thermodynamics, bro. Chest up, shoulders back. Welcome to Revival Fitness, everybody, your home for gains and brains. And we have an unusual but interesting video here today, guys, because we are about to be joined by my online coaching client, Euan, who has been the subject of a recent Greg Doucette video. I was notified by this en masse in the Chest Hair Gang Discord server, and I'm going to break down in this video, and he is going to as well. It's really his video, not mine. A lot of the things that Greg mentioned in his video were simply presumption. They weren't accurate, and some of them were just downright false. Surprise, surprise, right? But we're going to set the record straight in this video now. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, so here we are joined by Euan. If you don't mind sharing, man, when did we start working together? A few months, right?
The very end of November.
I like how you know that and I don't. Great coach.
Yeah.
I'm a great coach. Yeah. But can you give the audience kind of a background of your training history and everything prior to that point?
Prior to this point, I was an athlete all my life and just went to the gym, and I played soccer my whole life. So I was relatively active and in the gym, but I never lifted seriously. And I certainly did nothing once I hopped on your program, nothing like that. Never any compound lifts or anything. I would kind of do the typical, just go in and get a pump and leave.
Push pull legs, bro?
Yeah.
Push pull legs, bro, yeah?
Yeah. I fell away from the gym for a year and a half and kind of just did nothing and fell away from training and sport in general. Then lost a lot of weight, got sick, lost even more weight. And then when I originally came to you, it was just this smallest and weakest. I was so weak and so skinny that I just had to build back up again. And that was my starting point from when we started working together.
Yeah. How tall are you again?
I'm 5'9".
And what was the lowest you weighed?
Probably just under 120.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Dang. How long ago was that?
That would have been mid-October. When I was in Atlanta, I played for Atlanta United's MLS Academy for
nice,
a year. I was in the development. I was pretty serious into soccer, and I thought I was gonna scholarship-wise, and then I just completely fell away from it.
Really? Yeah. What made you do that? Just you lost interest, or was it health related, or what?
I lost interest in not just sport, at that time, pretty much everything. I just lost interest, and I was just trying to focus more on school. And I think the way I had been so focused on soccer for so long that it became mentally I just couldn't take it that level of training anymore, and then it just became uninteresting because I had done it for so long.
Yeah.
And then fell away from it, and then came back just wanting to work out and do a bunch of stuff again.
Right. And your current weight right now is 138?
I was 138 this morning, but that's because of the recent the probably just the cleaning up the diet recently, for the first week of prep. So before this it was 140.
So some people might be surprised by that until they see your physique, because they're going to be like, what are you prepping for? You're actually prepping for a bodybuilding show.
It's just gonna be the size, man.
Because people might be wondering what would prompt you to go into a show like this. You kind of mentioned to me it was something you wanted to just try. Is that the crux of it?
Yeah, one, I kind of want to come out of the end of this with something physical, if that, say that I at the so far in this journey, I went and did this, and then just continue from there, and then like really go off season and like really bolt. Like the road to 170 begins after this. To say that I did it, and to say and for the experience, because I think it's something I'd be interested in the future. I'd just be like in need of the longest off season known to man.
Yeah, that'd probably be years long. Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's how it has to be.
forever. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like if I go and do this, and I know like it's something I'm really interested in, then I can like have that mindset for that goal like long term in the future. And just because I didn't actually expect this to happen, because like from the before pictures, like as I gained the weight, like working with you and on the plan, I like leaned out at this like just like a little bit, and then and I just didn't expect that to happen at all. And then like as it started to happen, I was getting like leaner and adding like a little bit of size and a little bit of strength. And then I thought, like, while I'm at this point, like I don't really want to hang around here that much longer.
Right.
Like it's just not, like, one, it's not maintainable. Two, it's not really like ideal, like for progressing any further.
Yeah,
and then,
absolutely.
like it's just slowing me down. So like while I'm here to like do it, get the experience, say that it's something that I did, and then like forget about it and like focus more on just like getting like watching the numbers fly up.
Right. Yeah, then it makes sense though, because I mean most people are never gonna be this lean. Have you got any sort of DEXA scan or any sort of measurement done, or no?
No, I've never had that. When it comes to like people estimating, I've gotten like wildly different things. So like,
I'm sure.
it's like I've gotten people been like, oh, 10% like for prep. Like I had one prep coach that I like spoke to that was like, oh, you'll probably need to lose like another 10 pounds because you're like, and I was like, and then I have had people say that that's absolutely insane, and that literally like step on tomorrow. So it's gone from step on in 30 minutes to like lose 10 pounds.
People contact me all the time for their body fat. I would say most people that hit me up, if they've watched me, can get a decent idea. But some guys, they'll be closer to 15%. They think they're 25. And then the flip side of that is guys will be maybe 13 to 15. Like they might get some abs showing, and then they think they're like 7%. They're like, oh, dude, I'm ripped. It's like, no.
Yeah.
But for an amateur body, because you're competing in teen novice, correct?
It's going to be teen novice, and then because it's only like $100 more, like while you're there on the day, I'll probably do it against like the big boys just for like.
Why not, dude? Why not? Why not?
The pictures are going to be hilarious.
I mean, especially for a novice division, an amateur division, this would strike me as lean enough. Again, maybe I'm not, the bodybuilding guru, but this would strike me as enough. Current physique, 5 months back in the gym, thoughts, advice, opinions, and then we saw all the pictures.
I think I did put some that aren't in like the freaky, like perfect David laid down lighting. Like, I deliberately did like think about that, and I was like, oh, so people have reference. You can be as lean as you want. It does not look like the down lighting. Like
never.
It does something crazy.
I think that's why people get so messed up online, is because everything they see, it's in perfect lighting. It's been ran through Lightroom 3 times. Filters are added to it. I mean, like, these photos are deep fried at this point.
The stuff on Instagram, they literally look like aliens.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I bought some Lightroom presets recently just to play around with them, and just the before and after of the pictures. I mean, even if you don't edit the angle and anything, just the edit of the little bars and stuff. Completely different. It's absurd at this point. What would you say the comments were roughly? This one says, you look like the trend plus DNP plus no working out guy from mpmd's old video. Do you know that reference? Because I don't.
The video, when I saw that, and then I pulled it up, like this dude just blasted Trent and like just as an experiment and didn't do anything, and he like got like, I don't know how to explain it. It just looked like electric wires. Like you could see like every.
Yeah.
It did something weird. Yeah. But yeah, I had never seen the video until I watched it. And then like it's kind of annoying because you can't see it, but like the original purpose of like me putting the subreddit is like, one, just because I was bored, 2, just because I wanted to like see what people said. I was just messing around. And then 3, like when once people commented, like because I got in some private chats with other people because about like my like pretty much the main question I wanted answered was like, what do you guys think about me competing? Or like, could I compete like this and that? Because I had made other posts on like bodybuilding subreddits at the same time as this. Like I kind of did it all at the same time because I was trying to decide like, should I do this? Can I do this? Like, what do people, is this dumb? Like, is there any point in this? And then I got like a mixed bag of replies.
Yeah. This guy says anyone can be shredded if they starve themselves. Well, that's the funny thing. If you saw this off rip, you'd probably think you were starving yourself, but
I understand, like,
yeah, and you were messaging me about how you're like, man, I'm eating more, and I like, you were saying how it's like mentally kind of tough, right?
It was, but I had like, when people saw this, like their initial reaction was like, how, like most of it is like, how long have you been cutting for, or like,
yeah,
like what are you eating, like 600 calories a day, and like it was consistently going up, and not that I was like optimally bulking by any means, because it was like upping the calories every time was like mentally like challenging for me, and so on and so forth.
So do you take those normal pictures in the gym you go to? Is that where they are?
Those ones are at DMV Iron in like the posing room they have.
Oh, so this is like this is where a lot of influencers take their pictures, right?
Yeah, those ones.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
If you keep clicking, those ones are in like my commercial gym. Like that's just the gym I go to.
And then this comment here from Redheaded L Woods, young Tristyn Lee vibes. That's gonna lead into right here. Look at that. So then this video by Greg, we're filming this on Friday, April 14th. So this video is 3 days old. It's over 330,000 views. This may hit over 500K views. Probably will.
I looked at like I could not believe, like I was just sitting eating lunch like when it got posted, and then the Discord started blowing up, and I just kept seeing myself getting tagged, and I clicked on it, and they were like, Euan, oh my god, you gotta check this out. Like, yeah, they like recognized the progress pictures because I had put it in the Discord too, and they were like, oh my god.
Okay, so here you are in the pinned comment. Hey Greg, it's me in the video. Thanks for all the comments, tips, and advice. Wasn't sure how to reach out or if commenting was the best way. Okay, so we're going to go through this video here, and there's some parts you pointed out to me that we're going to have to correct, basically. Hashtag scary.
Yeah, no.
Young Tristyn Lee vibes. Thanks, bro. Well, technically, that's not a compliment. Although Tristyn Lee's very popular, millions of followers, do we really want you to try and look like that? Coach Greg, in today's video, a kid, he needs our...
It looks like Greg has dwindled down some of the supplement factory he was recording in front of, so that's good, I guess.
help. He's only 15 years of age.
You're 15 years of age?
I'm 19. I'm 19. I don't know how there was a mix up, but yeah, I did want to clarify that. Like I am not, because there was a bunch of comments like under the YouTube video, like oh, like where is parents? Like I'm 19. I have loving, supporting parents. Like
you've told me that your mom followed the program I gave you and she's doing chin-ups, right? Actual chin-ups with no assistance.
My mom went from like insanely assisted chin-ups to like by the end of it with me, because we were working out together all the time. Like she was just like repping body weight chin-ups, and then like it was crazy. Like I could not believe it.
But I don't know what I'm talking about. All right.
He went to Reddit, posted his physique, asked the question. Current physique, 5 months back in the gym, thoughts, advice, opinions. Remember, he's only 15 years of age. He's a young...
I wish I had like a buzzer I could play.
Young guy. He doesn't have a lot of knowledge, and so he's clearly asking for our help. And so I've examined his physique. The guy is shredded. He's so lean that people are writing in the comments, oh, a young Tristyn Lee. He appears to be under 5% body fat. Front, back, top to bottom. Guy's absolutely shredded. 5'9", 140 pounds of muscle.
Your upper body's kind of Athlean X-ish. Does that make sense?
There's plenty of comments.
For any guy in your situation who's looking to like compete for the first time, I would say don't like Skeletor yourself to the bone for your first competition. Someone told you to lose 10 pounds. Holy heck, dude. Jeez.
Yeah, like I said, I had people that were like, find a show tomorrow.
That's the advice I gave you. I was like, dude, you could probably just wander into a show and try it.
You may be thinking, yes, this is amazing. You've achieved it. You've done it. Look how amazing you look. But others going to say, you need to eat. You need to eat more. You need to put on more body fat. And so just look at the photos. If somebody said that this guy was competing, that he was on stage, that this was the day of the show, I would say clearly probably the leanest guy in the show. And remember this, leaner does not make you better. There is no reason to try to be this lean. I don't care if you're trying to impress other people, to impress yourself, to look aesthetic, to attract a girl. Being this lean is not healthy. And so the first thing we have to think of in answering his question is we have to make sure that he is healthy. And right now at this level of body fat, he is not. He might pretend he is, he might say he is, you might think so, but he's not.
What would you say your current health status is, roughly?
Pretty good. Like, I could be better, but pretty good.
Do you sleep well, or what's that like?
I sleep pretty well.
Really? Good.
Yeah, I've never had any problems with sleep. That's one thing that like people said like that they might have, that never. Yeah, I sleep fine.
You might be genetically better, very lean compared to most people.
I would feel like random dips of energy like throughout the day, like I need a nap to then like, oh, I'm ready to go like smash this workout like randomly like that. Like that would happen like multiple times a day.
And I'm not talking just physically healthy. I'm talking about mentally healthy as well. To think that you need to have sub 5% body fat and that's somehow a good thing, it's not. And if you doubt me, just ask Tristyn Lee. Tristyn Lee, for years as a teenager, suffered from being severely underweight. He only now came to realize he struggles, and I'm sure if he could go back in time, he would have eaten more.
Something that interests me about Tristyn Lee is that he's looked like that since
years.
Legitimately, probably middle school, right?
From the first time I remember seeing him, which would be like 3, 4, like 8, maybe even 5 years ago, he's looked like that.
And considering he's only been at the gym here for 5 months after a layoff, and he doesn't follow any specific training program, the guy clearly has gifted genetics.
Okay, he just said you don't follow a specific training program. Once again, you never said that, correct? That was not mentioned.
You'll see at the end of the video, there's actually like a person that asked me, and I commented like the cardio I was doing at the time, and then I mentioned the 4-day upper lower split, and then that I would like usually do a push day on Saturday if I went to the gym with my boys for fun.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I like he puts that in the video at the end, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he probably saw a few pictures of you and then just made the video, and then the editor Seath, perhaps probably ran through and then put, you know what I mean? So he probably never even saw it.
Not just for adding muscle, but also for getting shredded. Most people at 15 years of age that would be this lean at 5'9" probably weigh 120. And so one of the problems when you're this lean, I don't care who you are or how great your genetics are. If you're sub 5% body fat, your testosterone levels, they're going to go down. And so I'm sure if he were to get his blood work, got his testosterone levels checked, they wouldn't be optimal. And sure, some people could say, well, why don't you take G10?
Okay, well, that's a great spot for a break. Good Lord.
I'm not on G-test or anything. Yeah.
Why don't you take HRT? That is not the answer. The solution here, it's not with supplements. It's not with adding in hormones. The solution is to eat more. If you eat more calories and your body fat percentage goes up, you're going to feel much better. You're going to have better workouts and put on a significant amount of muscle. This is the ideal physique for every teenager lifter.
What was the heaviest you've been in your life? Do you remember?
Like 180, 185.
God, when was that? How long ago was that?
That would have been like when I was living in the UK and I like came away from training and everything. Pretty much my entire life prior to that, and then like directly after that, like 150.
Gotcha. So then you said you got back into sports again, and then you got sick, and now you just like snowballed down.
Yeah, and then it like went down from there. But I got back to 150, like just like my body just like seemed to like to sit there, and then I got sick, and then since I came back, like this is how it's been going since then.
They never eat or lift heavy and think they're going to get huge.
I like the wrong there. That's good.
And so his response, I do compound lifts. Numbers have been going up, so I do lift heavy or as heavy as I can. And so listen, you're telling him that all you're doing is under eating calories, that he's not putting on any muscle, that he's not getting any stronger, and that he has to eat more in order to get results. But his argument is, I am getting stronger. I am putting on muscle. And he's not wrong. And the person commenting is also not wrong. But here's the problem. He could be doing so much better.
I didn't really get that. Like how, like if I wasn't wrong, like I don't know. Like I do compound lifts, the numbers are going up, and I wasn't. Like it's physically impossible to have gained like the weight that I did if I was under eating.
You didn't even say it's like I'm going to stay at this body fat forever. This is a Doucette thing because I keep like rolling my eyes because he does this all the time with stuff. He kind of just like jumps to the end of a bridge and then is like, oh, see, but this is happening. It's a lot of assumptions, but I'd be very surprised to see not only his but anybody's reaction if like they went over our messages and I was like, eat more, eat more, eat more, and you're like, I'm eating more, and you still look like this. You know what I mean? Like it's most people would think it's the total opposite direction.
Yeah, it wasn't like I said before, it wasn't that like it wasn't like I wasn't increasing them. It was just like at certain points it was like mentally harder for me, or like it was just slow. Mm-hmm. Like it was just slow, like so slow, and like the progression of the weight was so slow. Because like I have it all tracked and everything. Like I literally could like break down the percent of how much I gained like a month or like by the given month. It was just really slow. But like it's not possible for me to have been under. Like it was going up and up and up and up and up.
Yeah, of course he's getting better. When you're a newbie lifter, a teenager, you can do everything wrong. You can undereat, you can train the wrong way, and you're likely still going to make gains. But imagine how much better those gains could be if you're doing things the right way in the first place. Yeah, trying to look like David Lade, long way to go, LOL. And so there it is. That
was like a half. Like I was half serious, but like
right. I mean, you put the LOL after too.
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
Not even David Lade looks like David Lade.
People see other amazing superstars in social media, and they're wanting to look like them. David Lade, millions of followers, has an amazing aesthetic and shredded physique, of which millions of people want to look like. And so this kid at 15 years of age sees that physique and says, well, I want to look like that. Problem is, it's not healthy. I seen this guy, he's leaner, bigger than me. And so you start dieting, you start training, and before you know it, you have an unhealthy obsession with being shredded and trying to have single-digit body fat.
You mentioned this to me in our messages. Whenever you were kind of at your worst point with like not eating a lot, you watched a lot of Greg, correct?
I did watch Greg. Stuff that when I look back at it now is just like not... It was not the right messages I needed to be hearing, and it was like creating like a tunnel vision thing when I like had came away from sport and I was coming back to sport and I was like losing the weight to get back down to 150 in a healthy way. It just like was not the type of thing that I needed to be hearing. I should have just been like enjoying like getting back into sport and lifting again and just not worrying about it, and it became like kind of hyper focused.
Yeah. Was there other like channels or other stuff that you were watching a lot?
I remember watching like some of Scott Murray's stuff. Just like an obsession with like these like low calorie, like anabolic, like stuff that I like now I would just never eat anything like that. Like it's just it just like I just would not be interested in that. But like all these like concoctions and stuff that is just like toxic.
That was Scott Murray's whole channel pretty much, wasn't it? Like a bunch of recipes like that.
Oreo McFlurry, like massive volume oatmeal. And it was just like when I look back on it, it's just like, it's just not, it could never be a recipe for something good.
I've said before, a lot of the whole anabolic eating culture, in my estimation, it's basically sugar addiction. Just masked as healthy eating. It's like, oh, but low fat and protein and sweeteners.
And so, yes, you've gotten leaner, you're putting on muscle, you're not going backwards, but you shouldn't be cutting when you're already single-digit body fat.
I never said I was cutting. I never said I was cutting in the post, though. And when I was doing this like 11 days ago, like there had been like thoughts of like prep and posing practice and like doing a show and like a little bit of a mini like let's get ready, but like nothing was in stone, so like and nothing was booked, and no like diet or anything like that had started. So I at that point I was still bulking.
Right.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be cutting when you're already single-digit body fat. And yes, you can argue, should it be a lean bulk, a dirty bulk, what kind of bulk? But the point is
I still don't even think you would need a dirty bulk in this scenario. I don't think that's suitable.
I just don't see why you would why.
Somebody would say like, you need to just gain as much weight as rapidly as possible.
Like as quickly as possible. Could you not make the argument though that like dirty bulking like that to like gain as much would actually be unhealthier?
Even if your body weight doesn't get to an unhealthy point, it's like I get a lot of people saying they were obese, like genuinely obese, and then they cut like crazy and then they get really lean. So they go from like one end of the spectrum to the other, and then they have this body dysmorphia both ways, and then they just kind of ping pong. So then they get really lean, and then they're like, "Oh, I need to build muscle," and then they'll start bulking like crazy, and then they start getting they just go in this like endless spiral. So it's
like a yo-yo, like just crazy yo-yo dieting.
Yeah, you want to keep it like this. It's not that's Greg always says that too. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna yo-yo bulk and cut up and down." It's like you can bulk and cut, but you got to just keep it.
It's like one of the things I like whenever I would watch your videos and stuff, like when you would say like, see how easy this is, guys, when you're bulking, you just like a handful more, a handful less.
Yeah.
Like it's like you eat like pretty much, or at least I think like you would eat pretty much the same things.
You should be trying to gain weight. You should be increasing calories. And by how much? Well, my suggestion being this lean, I would start with an extra 500 calories per day. That's because we're trying to increase both body fat and muscle. Not all of those 500 calories are going to be used to build muscle, but many of them are. And some, it's going to increase your body fat. That's going to make your body much more conducive to adding on muscle, which is, of course, the goal. You're only 15 years of age. 15.
He keeps saying this, man. God.
15-year-olds should not be competing in bodybuilding competitions, trying to get shredded, trying to be leaner.
Was it the NPC or didn't some bodybuilding federation outlaw anybody under 18 in the past year?
I have no idea.
I'll have to put up I'm 90% sure. Maybe that was only speculated, but I'm pretty sure they passed something that said if maybe it was the NPC or something, but I think it was 18 or younger, you couldn't compete at all.
And what type of program are you doing in the gym? Do you do any?
Yeah, this is good.
All right, here we go.
I run and jump rope, 4-day upper lower split with a push day on Saturday added on usually. And so clearly this guy's doing both weights and cardio. He's running and skipping. That is.
You running and skipping?
Not anymore.
You skipping around the gym, dude?
I mean, it would be very hypocritical of me to say don't run when I literally, from the age of 13 on into my 20s, competed in triathlons.
I wouldn't say that's hypocritical. I mean, you could do that in the past and still say, like, I would tell somebody who's 5% body, I'd be like, yeah, you probably don't need to keep running. If you're running and doing serious cardio at that lean, yeah, you're gonna eat into muscle for sure, no doubt.
Most likely overtraining, but I was still able to put on muscle. And no, not as fast if I hadn't done cardio, but does that really matter? You're so young, why not have fun? When you get older, if you want to focus on bodybuilding, you could then reduce the amount of running you're doing. Guys like myself or Nick Bear who are doing a lot of running, it certainly slows down your muscle roll, but it doesn't mean.
Did he just say muscle roll?
Young Tristyn Lee vibes. Thanks, bro. Well, technically, that's not a compliment. Although Tristyn Lee is very popular, millions of followers, do we really want you to try and look like that? Being that lean, it wasn't healthy for him, both mentally and physically. Remember, the guy would.
He's still that lean, though, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was literally just about to say that. Like, doesn't he still look like that?
I've never seen Tristyn Lee anything but shredded out of his mind. He still looks like this right now. So maybe he's, 1 or 2% more than he was?
I remember watching, like, some TikTok or, like, there was a video where he was talking about, like, what he had to do to maintain like this level, and it was like a video of him doing like 20,000 steps a day. I'm pretty sure he ate no carbs. Like he just went carnivore.
He's carnivore, I think, isn't he?
He did, like, I think he did at the time, and he doesn't do that anymore. And that's why he's gained like 1%.
Remember, the guy was struggling to sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. He was counting his steps, over 20,000 steps. He was obsessed with his physique. He even went carnivore. Guy didn't eat carbs.
Yeah.
And so is that the life you want to live? He's 140. He has some muscle. Guys, y'all gotta chill, LOL. He's not a starving Holocaust survivor. And so we're not trying to put him down. We're not saying he has no muscle. We're not saying he's starving himself. The most simple, basic answer of all, eat more. How much? More than last time.
I was going to say, he's going to say more than last time, isn't he?
How hard should I train? Harder than last time. How much should I eat? More than yesterday. Just eat more and you will make improvements. And don't worry about how many more calories you're eating. You're not going to get fat in one day. I don't care how much you eat, 10,000 calories. You really think you're going to become obese overnight? Of course not. But I do understand when you're this obsessed with your...
Didn't he say earlier plus 500?
Yeah.
He talks in like such weird circles, dude. He's like, oh, well, you're not going to get obese in a day. It's like, well, of course not. But don't count. It's like, oh, man, dude. I truly, I don't understand this stuff at all sometimes.
Your physique, it does play with your mind, and so it can be very difficult to allow yourself to eat more. Listen, I'm all about training, trying to look aesthetic, trying to feel good about yourself, but if it requires you to be unhealthy or to do unhealthy things in the process, then I'm not a fan. Have you been cutting for 5 months? You look insane, but I'd start eating more. If your weight doesn't start going up slowly, just eat more. That's great advice. His response, I've gained 8 to 10 pounds since November and leaned out while I did it a bit. And so think of it, in the last 5 months, the guy's actually put on about 10 pounds of muscle, maybe even more, while lowering his body fat. And so he's always shredded, this guy. So it's not some crazy cut that he got on. He said he got a little bit leaner, all the while adding all this muscle. And so certainly I hope he's natural. It's possible that he's not even natural.
This will be interesting over the next few years, is like you bulk after this point.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Like, I'm really excited to like see.
You're going to be mogging people proper out here, dude.
Muscle he has is conditioning while only 15 years of age. And so it is possible that it's not natural. I'm not saying he is or isn't, but for many people,
you want creatine and whey protons, bro?
Just basic.
I mean, basic.
Yeah, just blasting tremboloning sandwiches. But no, I could not believe, like, that was the one, like, when I first saw it, I was like, no way. And then when I was reading the comments, I was like, seriously? Like, I was like, I'm hyped, but how? Like, I don't know. Like, I just think I still look like I don't have like anywhere near the size to even be like, have my name mentioned.
Yeah, like, well, I think the argument would be, this is, if I was the prosecutor here, the argument that I would get is that holding on to any amount of muscle as lean as you are is pretty impressive. But the thing is, you're so lean in these pictures that, I mean, that's how it goes. The leaner you get, the bigger you appear. Right?
Oh, dude, it's so bad. My friend that like took these pictures, we like make jokes all the time because like if he'll like stand next to me and I literally shrink. Like or like in a pit, just me walking down the street, it does not look. I look like a totally different person,
like a speck of dust disappearing on the horizon.
Like Thanos, I just like disintegrate.
That's the funny thing about the internet, right? Because like if we take this picture here,
I know,
and we zoom it in, and then we throw lighting on and puff it up,
and filter on it or something.
The thing is, like, people,
there's not even a filter on that. You could like enhance it a little.
Seriously, dude. If we deep fried this on Lightroom, and then like if you took like a random like picture of me just standing in the back here, people on the internet will be like, this guy's bigger than you. But people on the internet, right, because you just see stuff quickly and it's like, oh, but see, he's huge. It's like, it's very hard to get people to understand that, man.
I mean, just because he mentioned it in the video, there's like literally like a great example, like David Ladle being like normal lighting, like in a t-shirt, and he looks like a totally, like, not saying he still isn't jacked, because he is.
Yeah.
But like, it's just a totally different person.
No, dude, it's no surprise everyone's got, I mean, social media and bodybuilding culture at the same time, disaster.
I'm not saying he is or isn't, but for many people, adding on 10 pounds of muscle while in a calorie deficit, that is hard.
But you weren't in a deficit.
Yeah, I know. I never said I was in a deficit.
Greg, you got to listen to yourself talk, man. By Greg's own logic, right? Kaiko, You said you gained 8 to 10 pounds, but he was, so if you were in a deficit, how did you gain 8 to 10 pounds?
I broke the laws of physics.
You broke the laws of thermodynamics.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he's natural and that he put on all this muscle due to the fact that he has so many newbie gains left in the tank.
And he did good programming too. You can't forget that. Can you tell everybody like what the crux of your main food was?
Beef, like avocado, salmon, like turkey mince, like ground turkey, tuna, cod, chicken, rice, potatoes, oatmeal.
In other words, you're eating nutrient dense whole food pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
I wasn't even like, it was like a point where I was like deliberately, if I had an option, I was like opting for whole foods over like protein shakes. And even if it was like a healthy, I was just constantly like trying to get whole foods.
There you go.
Yeah.
People adding on 10 pounds of muscle while in a calorie deficit while being this lean, next to impossible. Do not bulk. You have a functional body for sports and athletic movements. A lot of these guys couldn't play 5 minutes of pickup basketball. Just keep doing what you're doing. May try to increase your calorie intake slightly.
Do not bulk. Maybe increase your caloric intake slightly, which is a bulk.
This is not what an athletic body looks like.
I will agree with that. I've said the same about Athlean X, because Athlean X, right, is like, oh, athlete. It's like, no disrespect to you, but right, if you got out on I mean, you even said just running, right? You were running and lifting and you were getting exhausted. I mean, if you were out playing, like, do you think if you were this lean, you could be playing serious soccer like you were?
No, I'd get thrown around the field there's just nothing to you. Like you have like any impact sport, you would be bruised. You'd actually probably end up getting seriously hurt.
Your chances of breaking bones and fractures and sprains goes up a ton when you're this lean.
When I was boxing like a little while ago, anytime I was sparring, there was a time that I had to stop for like a whole 2 months because it was like just a light sparring session. I took a body shot, and body shots are bad like whenever you're sparring for anybody, but like it wasn't as bad as it. I felt it, and I could not go back because it was hurting to breathe and everything. Like any contact sport, it'll just take it. I could not play sports like this. No, it's not athletic.
Absolutely.
High performance athletes. I'm talking about Olympic athletes, the best athletes in the world. 8 to 12% body fat. That is an athlete.
There's plenty of Olympic athletes that are 20 or higher.
Yeah.
You're going to find way more professional athletes who are closer to 20 than closer to 8.
Yeah, if you took it like in account every sport, yeah.
The thing is, guys try to argue this. It's like you can tell who's like, well, he says you're 50. You can tell how many guys are 15 years old. They're like, oh, every athlete looks like this ripped up sprinter. It's like, no, they don't, dude. Oh man, that's another topic, but click the video. I'll show you.
Slight calorie surplus is incredibly anabolic. The reason for that is if you're in a calorie deficit, it is going to be harder to put on muscle. Calorie surplus, a lot harder to build muscle. And so when you're 5%.
I think he just, that's the first time I noticed that.
I think he slipped up there, but yeah.
It's getting late for us too.
I know, man. I know.
Body fat and you're cutting or trying to maintain that weight or maintain at 5%. It doesn't make sense. It's going to be very difficult to put on muscle. I would argue you would put on more muscle by eating more than, in fact, taking performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Young Helmut Strobel. Appreciate you. Again, I understand he's trying to give you a compliment, but it's not good. Helmut Strobel is considered to be one of, if not the leanest person of all time in the entire world ever. Remember, leaner does not make you better. He's
doing this thing where like he takes your comments where you're giving just very basic pleasantry type of comments. Like,
yeah, I didn't really know what to say. Like,
yeah, and he's like, well, see, he really wants to. He's like, that's my. He's framing this as if like your goal is to look like this like forever, or that's like it's like, oh, this is what I needed,
It's kind of a shame. Like I never gave, like I really should have gave more context. Like when I did the original post.
Yeah. Hindsight, hindsight 2020.
Dude, seriously, whatever you're eating now, double the portions. Didn't expect this on a Greg forum. LOL.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh boy, he's gonna get mad. All right, here we go.
How many videos have I explained this? If you're shredded, 5% body fat, single digits, you need to eat more. If you're at a healthy body weight, 15% body fat, you main gain. And if you're overweight and or obese, a small deficit, you go down to what's healthy, perhaps 15% body fat, and then main gain. I don't understand why people don't get it.
Oh no, we're doing. Oh god, I'm having like PTSD, dude. Oh my god.
Every bodybuilder does it. Even Chris Bumstead drops down 4% body.
CBum reference drink.
When I saw this, and I was like, CBum has been referenced in the same video of me.
He can bring in Tristyn and CBum into video. Could be about like bird watching, and CBum will show up. You know, like
I had one, like I had like completed it. My gym journey was complete. I had been mentioned in 5 months. I had been mentioned in the same sentence as CBum.
My gosh.
10% body fat, and then main gain till next year, and repeat.
Oh god, Chris Bumstead main gains. Oh my god.
It's a cycle. They're bulking and cutting only because you can't put on a ton of muscle with your 4% body fat.
So he just admitted that CBum bulks up, but oh god, dude. I'm sorry, man.
They're really bulking, cutting. Not really. They're really increasing their body fat percentage until the point that they can main gain at.
So they're bulking. Yes.
Bulking.
I don't see guys like Chris at 10 or 15% body fat thinking, oh, I need to go up to 25% now. That's how I really put on muscle. I mean,
oh, now he's doing the dirty bulk fouls. I'm very triggered, as you can tell, man. Oh god.
Take a couple of years off, really get fat in the offseason, fat and sloppy. I'm gonna gain so much weight, then I'm gonna come back.
Are you prepared to become 30% body fat in your upcoming off season?
Never, no.
And so what are his goals? I think I'd like to be 170 lean.
Yeah, this is gonna look wicked, bro.
I remember talking to you about that, like when I was like, should I have like if I was like really thinking about this long term, and you're like, oh, well, for your height,
if you want to be like aesthetic and lean like 10% ish, right? Maybe like 170 is kind of going to be the point to where you've built muscle, but you know you cut
like down. The most amount of muscle you could have like at that like aesthetic. Yeah,
I wouldn't even say the most, but like that's like a very good point to where you're clearly built. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hopefully he watches this video, eats more, puts on some body fat, makes the gains, and when he looks back in the future, says, "Thank goodness I watched this video." And perhaps in 5 years he could diet down to 170 pounds and win classic physique.
I'll remember that. I was hyped when you said that. That was actually like. I don't know. That was like the best part of the video. I was like, no way.
Yeah, so that was the video. Clarified some stuff. Do you have any final input to add here?
I think I got to clarify everything. Just like there was also like a bunch of comments like where his like parents and stuff. Like I just wanted to like clarify like obviously I'm not 15, I'm 19 with like loving, supporting parents and everything. So
show coming up, you don't have a final date, but you're thinking what, this summer, probably 2023?
It's gonna be early. It's gonna be like early June, and then like as soon as we get closer, and like if nothing goes wrong or like anything like that, like no illnesses, no like I don't know, like or God forbid, like you can't do it or whatever, like it's not for you, or I don't think so. I'm pretty like locked in, so I hope so. I've got my fingers crossed, but yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be then.
Do you plan on documenting this anywhere?
I thought about like tons of stuff because I was like I'd been thinking about it for a while, like even just documenting it for me, like just to come back to. And then I was like, oh, and then this happened, and I was like, well, there's one idea, because I was like, oh, if there's ever a time to like start making content or something on like my own YouTube channel, it's now. It's kind of got to be from this to try and like keep some of the spark. So I thought about documenting the prep. I mean, if people thought that was interesting, I'd love to do it. Like I think it'd be a blast. And then like anything else, like just gym related stuff and like stuff that worked for me, and documenting like my journey and as I journey post show too on the road to 170.
For sure, dude. Well, we'll keep people updated. But thanks for taking the time, dude. And I've watched you, dude. You've made a lot of progress recently, and now, hey, remember with the show, dude, right? It's you try it out. If it goes well, if it doesn't go well, which even then, that doesn't even mean anything because you did it.
Yeah, I know. Like
there's no sponsorships. You're not competing for the Olympia. This isn't your job. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
From the very beginning, when I would ask like the question, or like I said to my parents, I was like, is it even worth doing? And but like the main thing I kept on saying was like, yeah, but at the end of the day, like that's ultimate. Like it's not the main goal I had of it anyway. So like,
Right.
regardless of the outcome, it's to say that I did it, and then if I can come away with something, then that'd be sick. But
Yeah, and you're
yeah.
already leaner than 99.99% of the population, so
I'm excited to see like how I look on the day, like carved up, like with the tan.
no,
Like,
dude,
I don't
the
know.
tan is a
It
trick.
makes a big. It
It's
makes
such
you
a
guys
cheat
a big
code.
difference.
You realize why they
Yeah.
do it once you have it on. It's like, wow, it's ridiculous.
And the shaving.
I hate the shaving, dude.
Yeah.
Awful.
I'm not really like that. I can't grow any like.
Yeah, do you even have to?
But
You don't even have to do anything. You just like, tan me up. I'm fine.
yeah, yeah. But I'd also like just like in the video, I just want to say like thank you for like the program and having me on here, because like the program did like wonders for not even like with my gym progress, but like just like mentally and like everything. Like it's just been like a great experience so far. So like thank you, and
Totally,
thanks
man.
for the having me on and everything. It's been cool.
Well, thank you, buddy. And let's get the heck out of here and
Yeah.
go. All right.
Yeah, peace, man. Thank you
All right,
so
buddy.
much.
Take
Have
care,
a good
man.
night.